Hi, it's attorney Mark Berman, and in this podcast we're going to discuss accident claim injury compensation. If you have a valid accident claim for personal injury, you generally can obtain compensation for a few things. These typically include medical bills not covered by insurance and lost wages. There are some exceptions in some cases. Now, medical expenses and lost wages are usually not too hard to calculate. You just add up the relevant medical bills. In terms of lost wages, you multiply the weeks you lost from work by your weekly salary. You factor in taxes, and voila, you have your lost wages, and you have your medical bill amount, and you can ask for compensation. However, accident claim victims can also get compensation for their pain and suffering. This pain and suffering compensation is often the largest amount of compensation that the victim receives. But pain and suffering compensation is not so easy to calculate. There is no formula for it. So if you're the victim of an accident, how can you estimate how much compensation you're entitled to for your pain and suffering? Well, fortunately, the law does provide some guidelines that juries actually use in trials for accident cases. These rules appear in the instructions that New Jersey judges provide to the jurors before they deliberate. The judge will instruct the jury that it can compensate you for the pain, physical and mental suffering, discomfort, and distress that you endured because of your injury. Additionally, the jury can compensate you for the loss of enjoyment of life. Loss of enjoyment of life means the inability to pursue your normal pleasure and enjoyment in living. Under the law, the amount of the compensation that the jury grants you should be what a reasonable person would consider adequate. Now, that's obviously not a precise standard. However, as I said, the law does provide jurors with guidelines to determine what is a reasonable amount. The jurors may consider your age, your usual activities, your occupation, and your family responsibilities. The jurors also can consider the nature, character, and seriousness of your injury. They may consider your discomfort and any disfigurement you suffered. They may also take into account the duration of your injury. Indeed, their verdict must cover any pain that you suffer in the future. Ultimately, the final amount of compensation is left to the jurors' collective judgment. So to sum up, the basic idea is that the more impact that an injury has on your life, the more activities that you used to do before the injury that you can't do anymore, the more disfigurement you have, the more you suffer pain, the longer the pain lasts, the longer the recovery takes, the more damages you're entitled to. Experienced personal injuries lawyers know how to best present an accident claim. Therefore, a good attorney can maximize your chances to obtain a good recovery. Indeed, on a valid claim, an accident attorney can usually persuade the other side's insurance company to pay you a settlement out of court. In that case, you won't even need to go to trial. And in fact, that's what happens in most cases. If you have any questions, or if you have an accident case that you'd like to discuss, feel free to call me. My number is 888-316-8288. Again, that's 888-316-8288.